discussion for this time is about problem solving. That involves worded problem, of course. And of course, it has been a trend that most students they have encountered difficulties in terms of solving worded problems. But this is what I always want you to know, that a problem is not a problem if it does not make you think. So again, if a problem does not make you think, then that is not a problem. Okay, so under problem solving, we have concepts which are about reasoning. So the first type of reasoning is we have what we call inductive, and inductive can be represented by an upright triangle, which means you will start from a specific idea or opinion going to the general ideas. And then the other type of reasoning is deductive, which is represented by an inverted triangle, which is otherwise, or the opposite of inductive, which the deductive reasoning starts with a general opinion going to the specific. And then if you want to have some real life examples of this, you may click on this videos here so that you can have some further understanding and much clearer understanding of the difference between the inductive and deductive. Then further, in terms of deduction, deduction starts with a theory, and then from that theory you have in mind, you have to hypothesize or try to have some educated guesses, and then from those guesses, okay, from those hypotheses, you try to observe, and then from that observation you try to confirm if the theory you have at first is true or not. Okay, and then under induction, it has to start with observation, with lots of observation, and then from those observation, if you have seen a particular pattern, then from that pattern you try to hypothesize, and then going to the theory. So this is another explanation on the difference between deduction and induction. Now, in terms of problem solving, if you are familiar with George Polya, he actually proposed 4 steps in worded problem. And first step is, of course, you have to understand the problem. You have to read the problem and try to reread the problem until you have understood everything about what the problem is saying all about. And then after understanding the problem, you try to devise a plan. And in terms of devising a plan, there are actually lots of plans or strategies that you could make use of to answer the problem. Now you have already decided on a plan to use, then you try to carry out the plan, and then after carrying out the plan you have to look back, and checking is part of looking back. And then another one is try to look back at the problem, whether you have answered the problem or not, and then try to devise another plan if you have not answered it correctly. Now in terms of devising a plan, I have here few of many plans or strategies to be used in terms of answering worded problems or solving problems. Okay, so you have their guess and check or guess and test, and I think you are more familiar with this in terms of trial and error. Then after which you have there to look for a pattern or pattern recognition. And then of course you can also make an orderly list, charts or tables. You can draw pictures. You could have systematic experimentation. You could have logical deduction, eliminate possibilities. You could also make use of solving a simpler problem and then using a symmetry. And then you have on the other side, you could use a model. You consider special cases. You can work backwards. You can use direct reasoning, a formula. You can make an equation and solve the problem using that equation that you have made. Or you could have the pigeonhole principle, mathematical induction, be ingenious, and other things, and other plans or strategies that you could make use of. Anyway, every plan or strategy that you have chosen here cannot be applied to all types of problem. So there are some particular problems where you can specifically apply these particular patterns or plans here. So there. So let us have some problems here. So we have here the first one about a school carpenter made 45 four-legged and three-legged stools. If he used 156 legs all in all, then how many of each kind did he make? In answering this problem, you could have lots of strategies to apply. You could have guess and check or guess and test, make an orderly list, charts or tables, draw a picture or using diagrams or drawings, or make and solve an equation or logical deduction. I have created also a video lecture on how you are going to solve these problems using these different strategies. And with those strategies that you will be using, you must arrive at only one answer. So there, you will be having 21 four-legged stools and 24 three-legged stools. 24 three-legged stools. Okay? Let us have another problem here. It says that you have to find the next number in the sequence 3, 9, 15, 21, 27, and 33. So on how are you going to solve these problems? The strategies could be also, again, guess and check or guess and test, trial and error, look for a pattern or pattern recognition, or you could make use of a formula, make an equation and solve an equation, and whatever strategy you're going to use, you should be arriving at one answer, which is the next number would be 39. And then another problem here. We have here Anna gave Bill and Claire as much money as each had. Then Bill gave Anna and Claire as much as each had. Then lastly, Claire gave Anna and Bill as much money as each had. Then the three people each had 32. So how much money did each have to begin? So kind of difficult, right? It sounds really difficult. It's really complicated. But again, I would like to introduce some strategies which you could make use of to solve this problem. So you could, again, use the trial and error, logical deduction, working backwards, and whatever again strategy you're going to use, and we can also make and solve an equation. You should arrive at this answer that Anna will be having 50. Anna began with 52 pesos, Bill with 28, Claire and 16 pesos. Now, in terms of the solutions of these three problems here, I will be providing you another video lectures for this. So I hope you understood the concepts about problem solving, and then try to wait for my other videos where I will be explaining the solutions for these problems using different strategies. Thank you for listening.